but this is only realized through effective management, and therefore it's a strategic value for sustainable development. Now, as important as these ecosystems are, it faces biodiversity loss drivers that are driven by both anthropogenic and climatic stresses. And this increases the vulnerability for socioeconomic development for the coastal communities. And so some of the issues that we are trying to address, some of the drivers that we are trying to address, particularly on the anthropogenic space, is human pressure, pollution, and weak governance. We also understand that climate-related issues are quite difficult to handle at the local level, but we believe that our efforts and those of our partners will form a network that will mitigate some of these climatic stressors, such as coral bleaching due to sea level rise and coastal erosion. Already in the Kenyan coast coral reefs, we have lost 20% of our coral cover due to the 97-98 El Nino. And so that gives you a picture of what sort of vulnerabilities. And lastly, we know that our communities, the coastal communities particularly, their livelihoods are climate sensitive. Now you add poverty to that, you have limited market access, that in total adds to the vulnerability that we are talking about for the coastal communities. So what are the interventions that we have proposed and implemented within the seascape? One is the establishment of locally managed marine areas. And these are area-based management measures that include aspects such as gear-restricted zones, seasonal closures for octopus closures, as well as no-take zones. And in total, we have established 787 hectares across 9 elements. And it's important to note that already the octopus closures have been able to generate over 2 million Kenya shillings for women fishers within the seascape. Another advantage for LMMAs is the reduction of illegal fishing and as well as protection of key marine species such as turtles, as well as the biodiversity such as corals. Now, we also have another innovation, which is the community-led monitoring, community-led coral reef monitoring. And we do this twice every year, and it's trained community members that do these surveys. They have a database that is established at their own conservancy levels, which we call the Marine Comms database, and this information is what we use to inform adaptive management. For instance, if there's an issue that requires a change in bylaw, the data advises on how that process should be taken into consideration. I also want to highlight about the Fish to Market program. This is a very innovative program where we connected the sustainable fishing communities to a commercial buyer. So this commercial buyer has an agreement with the community to offtake all the product that the community sustainably catches from the ocean and sells it at a premium market. The effect of this is that communities now have been able to realize profits of up to 200 to 400% because their catch gets premium prices, as well as other interventions such as training communities to be able to do best post-harvest measures within their areas. Lastly, I want to talk about the microfinance program, which is basically geared towards women who are into conservation. So the women who maybe do like mangrove conservation, plastic recycling, and all that. We have advanced microfinance. So far, we have reached 431 women with a total loan of over 14 million and also a savings of more than 4 million. And the recent survey that we did, we noted that most of these women have increased their businesses and income of up to 30%. And so these are some of the interventions at the marine system. I'll welcome Bernard to give us an overview of the terrestrial northern Kenya.
Thank you. I'm Bernard Kariuki, working for Opegeta Conservancy. I'll take you through this important northern Kenya landscape, which covers approximately 1.5 hectares and support over 4.2 million people who are pastoral farmers and also farming community who face a lot of challenge. This is very important landscape with habitats like forest, dry savanna, rangelands, with several over 35 community and private conservancies. It also have very good landscape where currently there is a lot of investment in horticulture farming, very large acreage of barley and wheat farming, and also small-scale farmers. It is very important landscape with iconic wildlife in our country. Currently, around 65% of Kenyan black-white rhinos, which are endangered, and also gravy zebras, elephants, and also the mountain bongo and besa, which are also endangered. Despite its importance in conservation, it really faces a lot of challenges. And yesterday I listened to some of the presenters here. It's like we are all suffering from the same challenges because of the climate change. So the northern Kenya landscape, it is in the semi-arid and arid area where the pastoralist is the main livelihood. However, recurring droughts and declining pasture and also water scarcity and increased pressure on natural resources threatens both livelihood and also the biodiversity. So together, as the partners, we are trying to address and making the community become more resilient through some of the innovations. Because the big population is equipped by the farmers, we are trying to train them together in climate smart agriculture with other partners and stakeholders. So currently, we have more than 100 farmers groups, initially Farmers Field School, whereby we do a kind of demonstration. And we are happy today to say that in the past 5 years, through our surveys that we usually do, farmers have managed to double their production and also maintaining the soil fertility. And also the kind of smart agriculture that we are doing, we are able to maintain the soil moisture, which even reduces pressure and maybe advocating for the farmers not to concentrate farming along the riparian. We are also aggressively doing sustainable range management through training the pastoralists who make also the majority with outside herds of cattle so that they can do fodder farming so that at least we can be able to generate our pasture and also having a calendar on controlled grazing, which is really affecting the farmers. Then the water security. That is a key thing in Laikipia, whereby over the last 4 years in the northern Kenya, because we have one major river, we have faced a lot of conflict, pastoralist conflict, pastoralist farmers conflict. So what are we doing? We are training the farmers to do water harvesting. Currently, we are happy to say that we have thousands of cubic liters of water through water harvesting, which is really removing the farmers not concentrate on the rivers. And also through climate smart farming, automatically farmers are doing conservation agriculture, which is a very big plus to the community. So for the recommendations that we have, I would like to invite my colleague George to take us through that. Karibu sana, George.
Thank you so much, Ben, and thank you, everyone. So the presenters have already mentioned that we work both in the terrestrial and the marine landscapes. So clearly, we have a lot of work to present, but because of time, we will, for purposes of advancing conservation in Kenya, we have a few recommendations. Conservation organizations have had the tendency of focusing on conservation per se, without, sort of mixing that with enterprise development. One of the things we've noted is extreme importance in looking at, enterprises for communities, basically focusing on development of, the value chain. So I think we need to focus more on that. We are also talking about the need to strengthen integrated ecosystem management, basically looking at, both the terrestrial and marine landscapes together, because like a presenter made yesterday, whatever happens on land affects what happens in the water. There is, of course, need to look at, strictly look at data and allow data to inform decisions and inform adaptive management as we go. Most importantly also is the need to focus on alignment with policies. Clearly, there are policies that are a problem for the work we are doing. Currently, we are doing a lot of restoration, but we are also seeing in this country, governments issuing permits for serious construction. You are aware, if you are watching news, you will have seen that even yesterday, there were people who were arrested, including the former CJ, for opposing developments in conservation areas. So while we are putting resources, there are people who are, we are trying to align, but it's also getting difficult. But most importantly, and lastly, we are recommending a lot of effort to strengthen community governance, basically investing in our communities to support, because we don't have just all the resources and the manpower to do everything. Thank you. And back to you.
Thank you, George. And Tim, Anne, Paul, and Dado. So I think in the interest of time, we'd like to take one or two questions. If anyone has a question to the four panelists, four presenters. Question. Because I know we are on time, but we are supposed to go to the keynote speak. Does anyone have a question? All right. Oh, yes. Introduce yourself and a question posed to whom? And introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Faith Cherono. I work for Bamburi Ecosystems, and I'm also a student at Pwani University. My question is geared more towards biodiversity. And are there any invasive species that you're dealing with? And how are you engaging the communities in terms of management and also reaping the benefits that can come out of it? Thank you.
Right. Invasive species, the team will see who to answer that. Gentlemen.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Ian Mwaniki from Center for Ecosystem Restoration Kenya. And my question is on agroforestry and diversification. So how do you convince these farmers to plant these trees or these plants that you are conserving, and it's not something that they'll harvest soon? So how do you convince them?
Thank you. From CRK. And then the final question from this gentleman, then we wrap it up.
Thank you. This is Galandi James, PhD student, University of Eldoret. I come from Uganda. How do you intend to make sure that the local man back there in the village is in line with the so-called governance and the rights in as far as the invasive species is concerned?
Good. Thank you. 3 questions. So the team here will start.
Thanks. So allow me very quickly, I'm not going back to the presentation, but I will ask you to scan that. So we have a report that has a lot of detail, including the work that we do. This will probably give a lot of answers